Hello gamers and welcome back to Let's Play Ash of Gods. Yeah, we are back with Hopper Rowley. Thorn's escape causes you no grief, but to your surprise, the others do not look upset either. Their grim countenance seems forced. Tell me, Shaq, have you already sent people after Thorn? What's new in the city? Sorry to disturb you, but you've got to understand. We're not here of our own accord. Royal orders. Something is afoot. For one thing, Thorn flees and then Bran Vijty leaves Ursus in a hurry, with all his men in tow. Didn't tell anyone where he was headed. Good riddance. He isn't too comfortable riding, they say. Got kicked in the privates. What do you have against the young Vijty? Who beat Bran? Are you going to send anyone after Thorn? Do you know where Thorn's daughter has disappeared to? We searched the house where Thorn had been hiding, but found no trace of Gleda, nor of Unda's daughter, Philia. They haven't been seen at the gate. Then again, stranger things have happened as of late. May I examine that house? I might find a clue. A clue wouldn't hurt. I started digging into the matter and it turned out that nobody had seen Unda for the past several years, nor is anyone certain about her daughter, Philia, either. We can go to their house straight away if you'd like. What do you have against the young Vijty? A real meddler. That's what he is. He persuaded the king to let his mercenaries patrol the streets while my own men guard the palace and mop up the abominations in the woods. As a result, there have been several scuffles already, with fatal casualties, I might add. I'll be damned. Were any citizens killed? Praise the gods, no, but it was frightful. The thugs tried to stop Thorn, but they were no match for him. They all perished, and let me tell you, had it been the other way around, I wouldn't have let that slug Bran escape the city. Wait a moment, are you saying that if it were not for Bran's men, Thorn could have run into your guards? Oh, that makes sense. Then I owe Bran Vijty a debt. You should know about how to ruin a moment, Aiki. Who beat Bran? By all indications, his own bodyguard. You have seen the pretty twins hanging around him, haven't you? One of them has done it. Bran jailed her without my knowledge. But she's not in her cell right now. She's escaped, along with her sister and Thorn. You can't be thinking that Bran had conspired with Thorn. They are old enemies and can't stand each other. No, must be something more devious. As devious as it is, something doesn't quite add up. Would Bran set Thorn free, only to chase him across the city afterwards? Perhaps the girls had quarreled with Vijty and then helped Thorn escape just to spite their former employer. Could be. This is as clear as mud, I gather. Bran is going to chase after Thorn now. He's lost so many men already, and all for naught. Are you going to send anyone after Thorn? I'm gathering a company, slowly. My men are still busy purging the abominations from the outskirts. I sent word by pigeon to everyone involved, but I'm in no rush to set out myself. I'll wait for Prince Cheik and do as he decides. Mustn't we avenge spilled royal blood? God's willing, Prince Ho will recover. He can judge Thorn's actions then. It wasn't Thorn who spilled his blood, and if he doesn't, chaos will break loose, and all our plans will go awry. Well, let's visit this Unda's house. There's something I'd like to discuss with you first. Why are you looking at me as if I'm the one hanging in the balance? Are you going to offer a deal? I've heard that you are unbribable, so it cannot be about the money. What is it then? How can I be of service to you, Commander of the Guard? I ask around about you, Hopper. You're a man of many talents, it seems. I have a favor to ask of you. Not to worry. No town hall breaking is involved. But you are a healer, are you not? Could you take a look at our prince? His ailment is awfully strange. Perhaps you could heal him. I would happily do it, considering the trust His Highness put in me. But aren't the best physicians already treating the prince? I would also point out that no one would let a vagabond such as myself anywhere near the palace. Even if I were to offer my services, His Majesty would surely shoo me off. Aye, court physicians are so full of themselves, they'll eat their own spatulas before they let someone off the street visit the prince. At this rate, they'll over-treat him to death, and they are doing just that right now. Even sorcerers licensed by the temple couldn't help one damn bit. Wait a moment, why did they bring in the sorcerers? Is Prince Ho's ailment of a magical nature? That's as much as these quacks managed to figure out. Listen, didn't the Cardinal himself carry you out of the rubble in his arms? You must be very useful, and you must know that a lot about enchantments. You also seem trustworthy, which is why I've turned to you. I'm ready to examine Prince Ho. I wouldn't recommend meddling. Let's examine him. It's my healer's duty, and I will do it without pay. We need to find a way of getting into the prince's chambers. I gather that even the commander of the guard cannot bring in strangers. Let that be my concern. If you like, you can see Unda while you're waiting. Hopper, I've no desire to visit Unda or her daughter. I'd rather take on 100 vision soldiers than have a staring contest with a single witch. I'll wait for you here. I might as well relieve Stein. He's probably bored out of his mind at the inn. Let him ride out to meet the prince and tell him about our exploits. If His Highness gets outraged, he might cool down by the time he arrives. Okay. Just would like to recap who's in that group. Unda's house. This is where Thorn's daughter was last seen. Ake. Talk about the Cardinal. The innkeeper. New Thorn. He might provide some useful information. And check. Let's go to Teague's Inn. Noticing you've entered. Aha, Sir Scribe. Would you like a bite to eat or something to wet your whistle? I've got both. Neither, Master Innkeeper. I have a question. You know that I arrived in search of Thorn Brennan and discovered something curious. Tell me, how did he quarrel with his brother-in-law, Bran Vichti? They've been enemies for some 20-odd years. Whenever those two meet, it's like throwing fresh kindling on glowing embers. What kind of embers are those? I've heard it is about some sort of inheritance. Well, it could be about the inheritance now, but I'm not an Odalan scribe to tell you for certain. I only know that Bran Vichti has been bearing a grudge against his sister. But Thorn's wife perished. There's no one to hold a grudge against. Yes, I heard that she'd perished. It would anger Bran even more. I reckon he'll not rest till he strangles Thorn's offspring. This Bran turned out to be a rotten bastard. Well, that's all I wanted to know. See you, Teague. Let's talk to Ake. Listen, my friend, I'm not asking you to spill out your soul, but I want to no misunderstandings between us. You're keeping an eye on me, aren't you? Who sent you? Was it Prince Teague or Coronzon? You're good at sword fighting and town hall destroying, Hopper. Just as you're good at reading people. Well, I'll not lie, it was Coronzon who asked me for a favor. That's the Cardinal, I think. What kind of favor was it? The Cardinal wouldn't ask for something trivial, I suppose. Do you report my every step? Did Coronzon give you any orders regarding the prince? Maybe he's asked you to step me in the way, eh? Or does Coronzon have his own stake in this game? Actually, he does, but it's just so absurd, you wouldn't believe it. Truthfully, at first, I couldn't even make sense of what he was asking. But the most important thing is, this favor of his won't affect my service to Jirana. Believe me, Ake, some things aren't as silly as they seem, and the Cardinal is definitely not stupid. Then tell me, Hopper, why is Coronzon looking for Gleda? He said something absurd, like Thorn can do that what he may. Prince Ho is of no importance, but the girl must be kept safe. Well, she's the girl in the other group, I think. Yeah, the daughter of the main character there. He told me to make sure she gets to Opakum. What can you say about that? I don't know what to tell you, Ake. I can't think of one reason. The girl may be of use to the temple. As for Opakum, it's a special place, Ake. The reaping has never hit Opakum in full force. Do you report my every step? Why in Terminum would he want to know about your steps, especially every single one of them? How could I possibly report them to him? I'll be damned if I know. Trust me, if Coronzon wants you to report to him, he'll find you anywhere. And did Coronzon give you any orders regarding the prince? How could you even say that? Coronzon may be angry with His Highness, but he is a cardinal, not a highway murderer. Do you really think I'm capable of something like this? I'd sooner end my own life. Yes, it's a bit hard to believe. Great warriors usually don't run errands like this. Maybe he has asked you to stab me in the back. Why would I do that? Well, if you made an attempt on the prince's life or something stupid like that, I'd do it without asking. But things Being as they are, what in damnation? I did not sign up for murder. Good. You know cardinals, they are a weird bunch. Yes, he carried me out of the rubble. But even a cat can drag a mouse out of a puddle. His reasons for being so, however, for doing so. Perhaps I should be going. But wait, I've been meaning to ask, why did you send Stein away? I never liked him. Odd and secretive, keeping to himself at all times. Truthfully, I've never trusted him, and I can't understand why Prince Streak forced him on us. I think Stein had his own reasons to be secretive. Anything could have happened to him when the reaping began. But if you don't like him, then I won't argue. Now let's talk to Shek again. Perhaps you could clarify something for me, friend. Why was a prince serving in the neighboring kingdom at the rank of a simple soldier at that? Someone's been feeding you stories, I see. The prince claims that the king wanted to marry him off to an elderly and unattractive Gavonan princess. But I think the true reason is completely different. That's what piqued my interest. High-ranking individuals don't often share their rigors of service with ordinary folk, and they certainly never do so in secret. You don't know our king. He's too hot-headed. If anything goes against the grain, he flies off the handle and behaves rashly. Luckily, Prince Streak is much more sensible. But even he wasn't able to protect his son, who was ready to confront his grandfather regarding every little detail. No surprise there. I would be more astonished if the young Sion didn't go against his elder's will. Our king is always rushing things, but with Ho it was like a knife hitting a rock. The young prince turned out to be more stubborn than his father. The princess is one thing, but Ho didn't want to concede. So the king said, I don't want to see you until you've had your fill of shit and grit. I see now. Prince Streak made his base in Ursus to be closer to his son, and his son joined an Odalan company of young soldiers to keep away from his grandfather's spies. You're quick on the uptake, scribe. Well, if that's all you wanted to know, I'd better go. I've so much to do. Now let's go to Unda's house. Shek fumbles with his keys, opens the door and enters Unda's house, explaining all the while. The abominations hid in the house. Had it not been for Thorn, they would have caused more trouble. Philia and Gleda, however, disappeared. How and where they went, I cannot fathom. You take in the humble furnishings of a traditional Burkenan dwelling. Could she have escaped through the roof or a secret passage within the house? Shek smiles into his mustache. The house was surrounded, guards posted in every yard of the block. We then left no stone unturned. We rapped on walls and lifted floorboards. We didn't find anyone. I'm starting to think that Philia and that other girl were simply not here. Not there. You fetch a stool for Shek. Have a seat while I take a look around. If you don't mind, of course. Don't worry, I shan't keep you long. Nor will you have to carry me out of the rubble, I promise. I think I recall escaping here in one of the previous videos. It's quite some time ago. And there was a fight here as well. Let's take a look at that privy. Check the hole. Of course not. The smells leaves no doubt. This is not. Inspect the walls. This Unda wasn't exactly living hand to mouth. Not everyone can afford a mahogany outhouse. Let's check the junk. You go through heaps of useless junk, moving barrels and crates around, yet you find no trapdoor. Table. Let's check the garden first. You walk around the plants and marvel at the variety. Some of them are quite rare. You fight back the temptation to borrow some valuable ingredients. In any case, it would be impossible to hide anything among the flower beds. So let's check this first. You see a stone table, most likely used to prepare potion ingredients. Inspect the table. Having carefully examined the table, you notice scratch marks on the flagstone to which it is attached. What caused them is unclear. Let's not do it. Let's check this first. You tell the commander, Shek, are you still in the house? Look, you can get down to the menu behind the wall. Shek's frustrated voice carries over from the house. Told you, we had the house completely surrounded. The temple guards are always watching on the other side. So this is the exit. Let's move the table. You try to move the table with success. Underneath it, a ladder descends into the darkness. A small scroll is attached to the first rung. You snatch it before Shek approaches you. The commander shakes his head, then points out an inscription on the bottom side of the trapdoor. You recognize the handwriting from the double mania. And if you do not burn out, carry it. Shek shrugs. Pure witchcraft. Let's go. This place gives me the creeps. You unroll the scroll, making sure Shek can't see you. For some reason you're certain that it's meant for you. The writing is from the same hand. Your path leads to the west. May you not shy away from tall buildings, and may you remember old friends and ancient enemies alike. As you leave Unda's house, Shek addresses you. What a catch. Congratulations, Hopper. I never would have found that cellar myself. You nod. This is where Gleda was hiding. She waited till everyone left and then escaped. Looking for her will be like looking for a needle in a haystack, but I will still try. You notice Shek's frown and reassure him. I remember my promise, Shek. I will do what I can. How much longer till we can get into the palace? The commander of the guards shrugs. Now is a good time to leave. The right guards are on duty, and the king's physicians have left. As you walk through the arched corridors of the palace, you realize that without Shek, you would have been lost. Of course, the king's palace in Jera is grander, but it is still too easy to make a wrong turn in the maze of long corridors. The guards are obviously Shek's men. They pretend you are not even there. You enter the prince's chamber and find an old woman beside his bed. Hopper, this is Tante, the prince's nurse. She has raised him from infancy and will do anything to save him now. She won't betray us. Come on, healer, do your part. Ake, please stand guard at the door and listen closely, just in case. You're no help with enchantments in any case. This is not what I expected to find. How could the daughter of a self-taught healer weave an enchantment such as this? She's no ordinary woman. Regardless, I'll now attempt to sort it out. Do your thing, Hopper. I will talk to Philia when I find her. Just give me the time to do it. After our chat, she will be happy to withdraw her enchantments and place them on herself. You should thank Philia when you see her. Her enchantment is not killing the prince, it is merely putting him to sleep. For a healthy man, it would have meant death, but for a mortally wounded one, it prolongs his life. Its final moments stretch into minutes, hours, even days. Are you saying she swapped a quick death for a slow one? Should we all bow down to her and praise? What are we to do? You did well sorting out the enchantment, but how can we save the prince? Taking out a notebook and a lead to write with. I have not sorted it out. One cannot comprehend such intricate weaving at a glance. Step back and let me concentrate. I need to make a sketch of this pattern, and, by the gods, hold your tongues. It's been a long while since you last saw such a sophisticated pattern. Several minutes pass in leaden silence, but you still cannot fully comprehend its properties. You will have to play it by ear, or the consequences for Prince Ho may be dire. What you are about to do is dangerous, but it's better than doing nothing. You begin to unweave the spell, but something goes wrong. The enchantment resists you, tightens its coils around the prince and drains his vigor. You fight this alien magic for several minutes, but finally have to admit that to yourself you have fallen into a trap. You pull yourself together and make a difficult confession. I cannot destroy this enchantment, only transfer it to another. It will not cling to me, and even if it does, it might rebound to the prince again. One of you will have to make this sacrifice. Shek smirks. Why waste one of us? Let me bring some thug from the dungeon and use him. We'll even clear him of all charges and set up a monument for him, posthumously. You do not even have the energy to face the commander. It's a splendid idea, but we only have a few minutes, if not seconds. Who is willing to do it? Your companions are frozen in silence. Their feelings are understandable. It's one thing to die for one's prince in battle or shielding him from an assassin's blade, but it's something else entirely to succumb to silent and obscure death such as this. You will have to pick the one to do it. Well, I would have liked to give it to this elderly woman who looked after the prince the whole time. Ake is the younger guy, and I'm hiding stuff from Shek, like the note. So let's look at Shek. The commander meets your gaze and turns pale, but he regains composure almost immediately. Cast it onto me, Hopper, he says. Such a death is honorable for any warrior. You can leave the palace the same way you came. You nod to the warrior, showing respect. As you say, all you need to do is touch my hands. The enchantment will do. Before you can finish, The old nurse, who had been standing in silence near Prince Ho, rushes forward toward you. Nobody manages to stop Tante. She grabs your hands and locks eyes with you, allowing you to witness the very moment the flicker of life disappears from hers. Oh, that's good, actually. You watch in shock as the old woman's body collapses to the floor. You can barely move your lips. Did you see it? She grabbed me by the hands herself. Trying to hide his relief, Shaq shakes his head. She turned out to be the bravest among us. Dear gods, look, Prince Ho, he's opening his eyes, he's waking up. You look at the prince intensely to make sure that all enchantments have been undone. Well, that's wonderful. I haven't taken a life in vain. Your prince will live in better health than ever. Holt has no injuries. You are interrupted by a bell tolling gravely. The commander of the guard listens with apprehension, turns pale and says, "You should leave the palace. The guards will tell you where to go. I must stay. Dear gods, I think the king is dead." Oh. But luckily they've got a prince. All affairs in Ursus are settled and it's time to move on. And I think it's time to end this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until then, bye for now.